Hello and welcome back to another episode of Injustice For All MMA. My name is David, and this episode is for UFC Fight Night, Yusuff versus Barboza. My apologies, might be the longest. This is the latest episode I've probably ever done. This is a late episode. No one cares about this card anymore. Everyone has forgotten. We're on to UFC 296, 294, 296? Is it 296? It's 290 something. It's the rematch. Islam versus Volk 2. That's what we're on to. Except it doesn't even matter. But I've been so busy that I put off this episode. That I put off this fight night. I dodged all the spoilers. I stayed away. It's pretty easy to dodge the spoilers. And I finally finished all of my obligations. Got to watch this fight night. And halfway through, I was thinking, all right, this will just be a couple injustices, whatever, here and there, blah, blah, blah. And it'll be an easy night. I wasn't too mad at the commentary. I was chill. And then the main card started. And my heart got sadder and sadder and sadder and sadder because I was looking at my scorecards and I was thinking to myself, am I out of touch? Or is Michael Bisping just fucking stupid? Because apparently, and we'll get to it. I was thinking to myself, Michael Bisping kept waffling on and talking, and I thought to myself, you know what? I won't bring it up. This will be the episode where I don't bring up how Michael Bisping is the most annoying commentator on the planet. Basically tried to lie on television and tell us all that in their goofy meeting that somehow, some way, that round 3, and maybe he meant, to give him grace, maybe he meant round 1, but he said a round 3 should be considered a 10-7, round 3, a round that was close up until Yusuff got rocked, and then Barboza had the ground and pound that he had. I'm going to assume he meant round 1, but even in that case, I still don't think round 1 is a 10-8. But we'll get to all that. But I'm sitting here thinking to myself, he just kept talking and talking, and sometimes I think if he could just let in a little bit of air, he'll think clearly. And he came in tonight with some. I'm saying tonight because I just finished it. He came in tonight with these goofy binoculars. I wear glasses, but he came in with these glasses that I don't understand the purpose of, because it's almost as though they did the opposite effect. I complain that Michael Bisping isn't even watching fights. He's looking at the fights, and he does this weird cop out thing where he says this is close when they're not indeed close in any sense. And he had these glasses on, and it's almost as though the glasses served no usage for what he was watching. That's my disgruntled point. We'll get back to Michael Bisping in a second, but we have to talk about honorable mentions. No one got robbed. And all through the night, I was thinking to myself, man, these are some weird inflated scorecards. Very inflated scorecards. Now, in MMA, the inflation of the scorecards matter if this is like a high-profile fight, right? But in this case, they technically don't matter, because if the right fighter won, the right fighter won. But they do, because in MMA, there's very few rounds. This is in boxing, where it's 200 rounds, and so you can kind of fuck up a scorecard here, fuck up a round here, and then move on. This is a case where we're like, no, this person won this round, and this person won this round, and we're very particular about that. And I want to get into this because all through the night, even up to the main event, certain rounds were just scored incorrectly, in my opinion. And we're going to get to it. So, first fight of the night, Yoder versus Ducote. I was thinking Yoder was just going to get finished in this fight. And then I remembered to myself, right, Ducote is kind of just whatever. Boom. 30-27 Ducote, that's my scorecard. All 3 rounds for Ducote. First round, Ducote outstrikes Yoder and had a takedown to close out the round. All right. Second round, Ducote barely outstrikes Yoder. Yoder's kind of picking it up. Yoder's like 10 times more active. I mean, Yoder actually had a decent fight. And then the third round, again, Ducote just outstrikes Yoder. We go to the judges' scorecards. And Derek Cleary has a 30-27 Ducote, the correct scorecard. Okay, Eric Colon has a 29-28 for Ducote. He gives the second round to Yoder. Now, I'll give grace here in the sense that Ducote did barely outstrike Yoder, so I'll leave that one. I won't give him an honorable mention. We'll go to Saul Diamata, who gives the last 2 rounds to Ducote, gives the first round to Yoder. I'm confused there. Ducote outstrikes Yoder clear and takes her down to close out the round. I don't know how in your mind you go, even if it was close on strikes and the takedown still happens, I don't know how you go, yep, this round belongs to Yoder. It's an honorable mention there to Saul Diamata. Shit scorecard. That's what really caught me. Start of the night, I'm hearing I should do a 30-27. Instead, I'm hearing 29-28, 29-20, 30-27. That's how you know this night's going to be fucking dog shit. Next honorable mention, Alekseeva versus Dixon. All right, I should have known Dixon was going to be good. Obviously, I came in not knowing who the hell Dixon was. I had Dixon winning this 29-28. Last 2 rounds to Dixon, first round to Alekseeva. And in my head, I was thinking, I don't think they're going to score that first round for Alekseeva. It was so awkward, weird swinging, weird punching. Okay. You go to that first round. It's close on the feet. Both had a little bit of ground and pound, but the deciding factor is Dixon gets dropped. And I'm thinking to myself, listen, this is scored this way all the time. We have seen people get dropped and get outstruck by a heavy margin, okay? By a very heavy margin. And then that person proceeds to get dropped. And they give the round to the person who dropped them correctly, right? We have a situation here where Alekseeva drops Dixon, and I want to say the last minute is basically Dixon getting on top of Alekseeva and landing, I want to say, very, very little ground and pound on Alekseeva. That's not enough to give her the round in any sense. It's not enough at all to give Dixon that round. Okay, you then go to round 2. Dixon outstrikes Alekseeva, gets a takedown with ground and pound for 2+ minutes. Obviously her round. Third round, both of them get a takedown. Dixon has ground, and Dixon basically has ground and pound. It's her round. Okay, last 2 rounds are hers. You go to the judges' scorecards where it's just confusion. Chris Lee has a 30-27 for Dixon. Honorable mention to Chris Lee. He gives the first round to Dixon. What the fuck? He just saw the last iteration of that round and decided, okay, Dixon wins this round. Honorable mention to Chris Lee. It's a stupid scorecard. Anthony Manis and Derek Cleary, both their scorecards reflect mine. Again, another example of into the night. I'm just thinking to myself, what the fuck is going on? Next honorable mention. One that I thought when this was a finish, this would be pretty clear. Elkins versus Brown. Elkins wins by submission in the third round. I had a 10-9 for Elkins in the first and the second. Okay, in the first round, Brown had a takedown, but Elkins had 2 takedowns with ground and pound. Right, pretty clear. Second round, Brown also has another takedown, but Elkins has 3 takedowns with some ground and pound, and then there's middle of the round. They're just reversing each other over and over and over again. But it's pretty clear who wins this round. Okay, the reversals are nothing; they're just reversing each other. But Elkins has 3 clean takedowns with ground and pound sprinkled between all 3 of them, and Brown just has a takedown, and that's about it. All right, you go to the judges' scorecards where these guys just all of a sudden don't know how. It's Chris Lee again. It's Chris Lee. Ron McCarthy and Brian Minner both scored correctly, 10-9 in the first 2 rounds. But Chris Lee gets confused because of all the reversals, apparently. He gets lost. First round he gives to Elkins. Pretty clear. Pretty clear. I don't know how you don't give Elkins the second round. He gives Brown the second round for essentially doing nothing. He gets a takedown, does nothing with it, and gets outstruck on the ground 3 separate times. I'm lost. Honorable mention there to Chris Lee. It's again, by this time, I'm just giving you a timeline. By this time, Bisping hasn't pissed me off on commentary, and by this time, the judges are making me confused as to how the hell they're scoring these. In particular, Chris Lee. We go to the next honorable mention, and that's Rodriguez versus Saaiman. A fight that I really thought Saaiman would win, and just watching this fight off the top of my head, Saaiman has a lot of potential. Now, I know everyone's making a thing about the weight cut, or the weight miss by Rodriguez, and that probably does play a big role in this, but Saaiman just proved that he's really, really tough. I think we already kind of knew that, and I don't know what they're going to do with Rodriguez. I guess I'll have to look it up if they care, if they don't care, whatever. But we go to the scorecard. I had this 29-28 for Rodriguez. Last 2 rounds for Rodriguez, first round for Saaiman, obviously. I'll get to that in a second. When I heard the scorecards, I was just another thing of just me going, how is this not 29-28 Rodriguez? This shouldn't be a 30-27. But, yeah. First round, Rodriguez has a takedown, but is outstruck on the feet by Saaiman. He's clearly outstruck on the feet by Saaiman. There's this weird... This fight also pissed me off because this is the fight where the commentary starts to go crazy. Dom and Bisping are basically... they start off the intro with Rodriguez missed weight, Rodriguez missed weight, Rodriguez missed weight. They then proceed to give the first round a glowing review about how Rodriguez is just doing so well on the feet, when in fact that just wasn't the case, in the sense that Saaiman was clearly outstriking him and won the first round. But they didn't talk about him in any sense in that first round. It was just Rodriguez. Oh my God, look at the way he looks. Look at the way he's pressuring. Dom loves pressure, apparently. Even though someone's getting outstruck, they're pressure. It's ridiculous. Okay, second round. Rodriguez gets a takedown with ground and pound. Both of them have multiple reversals, but this round is clearly Rodriguez's because he has the takedown and with ground and pound. Clearly his round. Third round, Rodriguez also again gets a takedown closer to the end of the round and outstrikes Saaiman on the feet. Throughout round 1, 2, and 3, the commentary, in particular Dom and Bisping, are just talking about Rodriguez. And throughout the night, when I can feel that they're talking about him way too much, they then want to say, it's close. That seems to be the out of they're waffling on too much, and it's close. It's stupid. It's very fucking stupid. Okay, we go to the judges' scorecards where I'm just lost and confused as to what the fuck they're looking at. Okay, Saul D'Amato, his scorecard reflects mine. It's the correct scorecard. He gives the first round assignment. Saul D'Amato's fucking locked in. These guys are not. Okay, Tony Weeks and Derek Clearly, honorable mention of both of them, fucking terrible first round. They give a 30-27 to Rodriguez. I'll reiterate. Rodriguez gets a takedown. That's not enough. He doesn't do anything with it. He gets outstruck clear on the feet. The takedown is irrelevant. This isn't, it's close on the feet, takedown. No, not in the slightest. So honorable mention of those two. We go to the net. Real quick, a thing that kind of just made, I don't know why it made me mad. I have nothing against Pereira. If anything, I hate Jailton more than I hate Pereira. But Pereira versus Petroski, this fight ends in a TKO for Pereira. Pereira misses weight one time against Wonder Boy and essentially decides, okay, fuck it, I'll just fight at middleweight. And what I don't like about this is a guy who was basically a top 10, top 15 fighter at welterweight. The thing that I don't like about this is, why don't they just give him a top 15? Why don't they just throw him a higher level opponent than Petroski, a guy who's coming up? They just threw Petroski. Now, I know Petroski accepted the fight, so it doesn't really matter, but it's stuff like this that doesn't, like, I'm not going to be happy and hype for Pereira screaming after he TKOs Petroski. That's akin to if a fight falls out between Holland and, let's say, Holland and Wonderboy 2 gets Holland and Vicente. I haven't looked at the news, so I don't know if this is a fight that's coming up. But Holland versus Vicente is up and coming. Vicente pulls out, and instead they throw him. Who's the kid who got? They throw him the Beverly Hills Ninja. I forgot his name. It's been a while. I know he got cut, but they throw him the Beverly Hills Ninja, and he proceeds to TKO him. And we go, and Holland then screams in jubilation. I would sit there and go, what the fuck? What? Huh? Huh? What? That doesn't make any... Why would we be happy for you? No. And so I'm not happy for Pereira that he's just going to clean up a couple middleweight come-ups and then finally be given a top 15. It feels gross to me. I don't like it. I don't fucking like it at all. Next honorable mention. This decision pissed me off entirely because I believe Maia won this fight. I can't say it's a robbery. I'll go to that in a second. Maia versus Araujo. I had this 29-28 for Maia. First round for Maia, last round for Maia. I put a close marker on the third round. I'll explain. In the second round for Araujo. First round, Maia outstruck Araujo towards the end of the round. They were pretty close on the feet up until around that 30-second mark, and right then is where Maia separates herself from Araujo by a significant amount of strikes, and in my opinion wins that round. It's fairly clear. It's fairly clear. Second round, Araujo gets a takedown with ground and pound for 2+ minutes. Her round. Third round, Maia's winning this round, and sometimes I wish I was a coach, not even a coach. I wish I was in the crowd so I could be like, don't do this. Don't do X, Y, and Z. But it wouldn't even fucking matter because I'm going to get to the scorecards, and I took a peek at it already. I'm going to get to the scorecards, and it's fucking disgusting. It's disgusting, but I'll get to it in a second. Maia has 2 takedowns. She's outstriking Araujo on the feet. Then proceeds to get taken down by Araujo. Now, and then Araujo lands the ground and pound that she does on with her takedown. Here's the reason why I put the close marker on it. Araujo was outstruck on the feet, but not by a lot. It was maybe 5+ strikes, right? She was outstruck on the feet, and she got taken down twice. And if I'm remembering correctly, Maia did very little with those 2 takedowns. So she's winning just based off of that knowledge. You then go to now Araujo takes her down and proceeds to land, I want to say better, heavier strikes. But in that small span of time, it's not enough, in my opinion, to give Araujo the round. But you could make an argument for it, hence why I put the close marker on there. And the reason why this can't be a robbery is because you could argue a 29-28, round 2 and round 3 for Araujo. But here's what gets me really riled up here. That has me super, super, super fucking confused. You go to the scorecards, all 3 judges give the third round to Maia. So all 3 are in agreement with what the fuck I'm saying, which is that last instance of ground and pound is irrelevant to what happened in the totality of that third round. Boom. All 3 judges give the first 2 rounds to Araujo. They give the first round. Saul D'Amato, Junichiro Kamijo, and Ron McCarthy. Honorable mention all 3. They give the first round to Araujo. It's close up until the last minute of that first round. They're both trading strikes up until that third instance. If anything, you could argue that Maia was hitting her with cleaner strikes. Not only cleaner strikes, she was slightly outstriking her up until she separated herself in the last minute of that first round. And yet they all 3 give it to Araujo. Just not honorable mention. It's rare that I give a triple honorable mention, but honorable mention. It's fucking stupid. It's stupid. Just insane. Last honorable mention. Yusuff versus Barboza. I had this 48-47. Now I'll get to the rounds in a second. I had this 48-47. First 2 rounds for Yusuff, 10-9. Last 3 rounds for Barboza, 10-9. 48-47 Barboza. First round, Yusuff outstruck Barboza on the feet. He outstruck Barboza on the feet. He's outstriking him by a huge margin. Gets a takedown with ground and pound. An onslaught in that first, I want to say, minute plus of that round. And then he proceeds, and then the pace just drops incrementally. Round 2. Yusuff outstrikes Barboza. A lot of missed shots by Barboza. They showed the strike count, and I was looking at it, and I was going, a lot of those shots are missed. A lot of those shots were parried. A lot of those shots were blocked and did not land in the traditional spots, meaning the leg, the body, or the head. A lot of them were blocked. All right, and so in my opinion, Yusuff definitely outstrikes him in this round. Third round, Barboza outstrikes and drops Yusuff with like a spinning wheel kick. And then Barboza also has some ground and pound there. Fourth round, Barboza outstrikes Yusuff pretty clear. Fifth round, Barboza gets 2 takedowns and he outstrikes Yusuff on the feet. Clear Barboza win. Let's start off with the first round. The debate is it a 10-8? It's not a 10-8. It's close to a 10-8, but it's not. All the craziness happens in the first minute of that first round, and then Yusuff basically just sits on top of Barboza and proceeds to just just stop. He kind of just rests. He rests for a little bit, and that's where we don't get the 10-8. It's not a 10-8. We had a whole week of a whole controversy. Which was, hey, these guys are giving out too much 10-8s. It needs to be a domination of the whole round. It wasn't a domination. Yes, he dominated the round, but he didn't dominate the entire round. He did it in the first minute and then proceeded to just chill the rest of the round. Not a 10-8. I don't think it should have been a 10-8, but they gave it to him because they complained one time and then they proceeded, fuck it, we'll go back to what we were doing, which is just sporadically give out 10-8s here when there's a small instance of something crazy happening. But whatever. And Barboza's face doesn't give a good optic of it not being a 10-8. So there's that. Second round, right? Bisping states perfectly in this round that I think Yusuff won this round. And I think he does too. There is a portion of the end of this round where Barboza is kind of coming on to Yusuff, but he doesn't outstrike him. A lot of those shots are missed. A lot of those shots are blocked. A lot of those shots are parried. Yusuff definitely outstrikes Barboza in the round. The problem I have is we go to round 3 where Bisping becomes a fucking philosopher all of a sudden and decides, you know what? You can fight me on this. It's a 10-7. Because Yusuff almost got finished, it's a 10-7. And by the way, they were this was in the last minute. They were close on strikes in the third round before Barboza landed the strike that wobbles Yusuff. And then Barboza gets the takedown with the ground and pound. This is basically, in a way, this mirrors that last round with Shevchenko and Grasso, where it wasn't close on the feet. Grasso was getting outstruck by Valentina, but she gets caught and then boom. She doesn't get caught. She goes for a takedown, misses it, and then Grasso lands the ground and pound, which a judge then gives a 10-8. It's reminiscent of that, except in this round, no one gives a 10-8. The problem I have is just Bisping just waffling at the mouth of just, this could be a 10-7. This is what we learned. I promise you that's not what you learned. I promise you. There's no way on God's green earth that they were in that room and they were like, yeah, if this happens, that's a 10-7. No way. But that's just me being annoying. You go to the scorecards, and I'm just so surprised they scored it this way. Two judges, Derek Cleary and Saul D'Amato, give the first round a 10-8. I don't like it, but I can't argue this part, right? Because that's just what they do. 10-8 for those two guys in that first round for Yusuff, and then Chris Lee gives a 10-9 for Yusuff. From all three judges, for the rest of the rounds 2 through 5, give a 10-9 to Barboza. Honorable mention to all three. Again, that second round should belong to Yusuff. I don't like the 10-8, and I don't like the 10-8, but once again, it should be a 10-9 for Yusuff in that second round. But if they had scored that way, this could have been I want to say this could have been a draw somehow, right? If they gave just one more round to, I believe so. Yeah, they could have. They would have been one more round. No, because one more point would have been 48-47. So it still would have been the same thing, but just in a different iteration. Yeah, I believe just in a different iteration. Maybe. I'm not sure. I can't math right now. But anyways, that's it. This fight card went from like just looking at it slightly boring to a possibility of, you know, it being great, and it turned out to be just annoying, mostly because of commentary. Commentary made this fight card really boring. A really interesting main event in the sense that Barboza was on his way to losing this fight, in the sense that he was going to get finished. And what we found out is Yusuff can only do 3-rounders. Yusuff is a 3-round fighter. He can't go 5 at all. He cannot go 5, and that's what happened. But sorry for the late episode. I'll definitely be on time in the next for the pay-per-view. But that's all I got. Thank you all for listening, and God bless.